Yarek, Aisha, Behrad, 2 episodes every week.
Leancast, product innovation and UX design podcast.
Where should we begin, Raya? Wow, like I went through your LinkedIn profile. It took me quite a while to scroll down to the beginning of your career. So first of all, thanks a lot to coming on this podcast. You are an inspiration to me. I need to give you flowers.
Oh, thank you.
And you are some of those like a sane, very sharp, philosophically open entrepreneurs on LinkedIn, which there are not a lot of them, and that actually your posts resonate with me. I actually was looking at your latest post, the consultants, like fake consultant, it just like cracked me up so much. And so yeah, I'm my ears are open. I think 95% sharp. Can you walk me through your journey, Raya?
Yeah, how far do we go back?
Look, there is a lot of executive entrepreneurs listening to this, right?
Yes.
Walk us through this crash course of entrepreneurship, and it's that's it.
I know where I'm gonna start. Like I told you just before we started recording, I'm born in Morocco and I grew up in Switzerland. So I think that has been shaping my journey as a founder, because I grew up in a very wealthy country, very luxurious, and I was also after university I worked in private banking. So you go even more into a luxurious environment when your clients are high net worth individuals, royal families, and so on. Then you live in a bubble. In the meantime, in parallel, every summer I was going to visit my family in Morocco. So here I could see poverty on the streets. I could see kids begging, and I would leave that world to go into another world. So it was very conflictual for me internally. So I think this is what took me on this path, because I've been wondering why some have and some don't have. Is there anything we can do, and where can we start? So that's what I've been dedicating my time and life, trying to solve this little challenge, big challenge, huge challenge, my way. So I realized what people are missing when they want to achieve wealth or financial freedom, or just having a more comfortable life. Those who have a network, they have knowledge, they have expertise, they have capital, they have the right mindset.
Yeah.
Those who don't have, because I've been talking to aspiring founders also in Morocco. So I don't want to generalize. I'm just giving you here some examples. But I've been facing a certain mindset where, no, we can't do it. No, I don't have the network. No, I don't have the competence. Okay, but what can we do to help you? What can you, what kind of mindset can you embrace? So, and I've also been talking to a lot of founders here in Norway. And this is what I realized. I realized that actually founders, wherever they are in the world, or aspiring founders or entrepreneurs, they miss the right mindset, capital, knowledge, and expertise. When I finally decided to quit my banking career 9-10 years ago, I wanted to start my own business. And I didn't really, you know what? Excuse me. I want to do it again. You know why? I want to do it again. I rarely did this, but I want to do it again because I want to go back to the journey and not go. I have a plan.
Okay.
If you don't mind, okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I'm not linking it here. There has been so much going on. I want to make sure that it's as clear as possible.
Let's do it again. All the way.
Okay. You want to restart it or?
Yes, let's do it again. Yeah. So, so the first part. Okay, let's start from the beginning. So, Raya, thanks a lot for coming on the podcast. Your journey has been an inspiration for me. There are a lot of resemblance. I come from Iran, lived in Sweden, moved to Germany. I'll leave it up to you to sort of like break down your journey, but you've achieved a massive success, and along the path you have impacted lives of a lot of founders, investors, and the reason I really wanted to come on the podcast is to give us a crash course on entrepreneurship by going through your own journey. My ears are wide open. I would love to hear what you have to say.
Thanks for having me, and I'm super happy to share my journey with you and your community. So, just like you, I come from another country where I don't live. So, I'm born in Morocco, grew up in Switzerland, and I'm now living in Norway. And since I came to Norway, this is where really I started my entrepreneur journey. Mm-hmm. So, in Switzerland, I used to be in private banking and wealth management. But I was really missing, to be honest, I don't want to despise that profession. I might go back at some point in my career, who knows? But at that point, I was missing purpose. I was missing impact. I felt I was just part of a system, one amongst others, and I couldn't really shape the organization or be innovative, create innovation. So because I'm a bit of a rebel and a challenger and a rule breaker, I quit my safe corporate job, highly paid, with prestige, and having dealing directly, because I was in front office and private wealth management. I was dealing directly with royal families from Middle East and high net worth individuals from all around the world. I quit that safety and started to go into entrepreneurship. My first startup, my second startup, and of course I was failing, but I never actually looked at it as a failure. I was just like, I'm giving it a try. I'm testing. And actually I was testing on the side and going back to banking as well. When my was telling me, but Raya, what are you doing? Just go back, get a job. And I was like, okay, I go back, better pay, better position. And then again, I have this existential crisis where I live in a bubble in the banking industry with a certain lifestyle. And, I come from Morocco. So every year I was going back on holidays to Morocco, and I could just see very different worlds. In Morocco, you see poverty on the street, kids begging, moms with their kids sitting on their legs and begging on the street. And I go back to Switzerland, leave that work, and I just couldn't close my eyes. There was something that was triggering me, and there was something I wanted to do. I didn't know at that time that what I wanted to solve really was helping people start their own business. At that time, I was just starting businesses, but I had that in the back of my mind, that wound, that open wound. And, when I look at investment opportunities with other investors, or even myself, just when I do due diligence by myself, I try to find founders who have a wound. That I try to find, but it's a good those who have a wound, there is something they want to heal, and they will be working all their life trying to heal it, trying to fix that problem they have faced or they have seen others face, and it was so painful that it becomes a life's purpose, right? So without knowing at that time that I had a wound that I wanted to fix, I went into entrepreneurship, trying to start businesses. I was into, with one of my best friends, one of the first businesses was a label to sell to organizations that would showcase that they are gender equal. That was like 15 years ago. No product market fit. Failed. Move on. Then with another friend, we wanted to do food delivery, organic food delivery in Switzerland. Of course, we had no network. We had no clue what we were doing. And then, like I said, I was going back to banking. So I went back to banking. And then at some point, I just quit. I was like, okay, let's just give it a try. And maybe certain things in life happen for a reason. So I got, and I maybe needed that. I got married, I got pregnant, and my husband is Norwegian. So he was like, we have the first kid now. If you go back to banking, it's going to be long hours. It's going to be for both of us. We won't see our kids. I got a job opportunity in Norway. It's better life quality, work-life balance. And I said, let's go. Cannot be worse than Geneva. I said exactly that. I was with my baby. He came back home and said, Raya, I got a job opportunity in Norway. He didn't even tell me before that. I was like, let's go. It can't be worse than here. I mean, Geneva is an amazing place. I'm going back on holiday in Switzerland this summer, and I go back every year. Amazing place. However, it was not an entrepreneurial place. No network at that time, no accelerators, incubators, no one to talk to, no one to guide you, and so on. So I was like, I need to get out of here, because here I'm just a banker. It's written on my forehead, banker. That's everything. That's the only thing I can do. So we came back. We came to Norway, and this is where really things picked up for me. I told my husband, I said, listen, I'm not going to look for a job. Don't count on this. Me 18 months to figure out my thing. We're going to live off savings from Switzerland, from my previous salary, and so on. I'm going to take my time to figure out the ecosystem, what I want to do, who I can do it with, and so on. As soon as I arrived, started a company with a girl from Switzerland that was also an expat here. I just met her. I told her, I want to organize weddings. I loved organizing my weddings. Want to organize wedding? Yeah, let's do it. Of course it didn't work. Between her and I, it didn't work. Now we're friends, it's fine. But at that time, it was a big drama. I'm just like starting things, giving it a try until something, is working. So I've been starting ventures, shutting down, connecting with people, opening up everything, showing trust and telling them, this is what I want to do. Are you in? Are you out? Let's do it. Let's give it a try. 2-3 months. Let's give it a try or more. So that has been my strategy. Move fast, execute, get people on board, open everything. So I'm very transparent if I see that there is somebody who's talented that I want to get on board on one of my projects, I just open books. I'm like, this is what we do. This is how we make it. This is how much we make. This is what I'm looking for. And this is how I recruited, if I can say recruited or like matched with my co-investors and business partners. I mean, in 10 minutes, the deal was done. When it doesn't match with everybody. I meet a lot of people and I do the same pitch to see, are they going to jump on the opportunity or not? Right?
Yeah.
And some, you just feel that they're not ready yet. They're on their own venture. And some others like Stuart, after 10 minutes, we shook hands, we're like, okay, deal. We start working together. No NDA, no contract. I'm just like, let's get it done. Let's get started. So to go back to how things started for me in Norway, after this failed venture in wedding planning, a big little drama in my life. I was like, oh, she stole my idea. That's what I thought at that time. She's going to do it by herself and so on. But really, let's take a step back. What do you really want to do in your life? I have respect for wedding planning. It's a tough job. But do you have other aspirations? Is this something else you want to do that will be more fulfilling? And an aha moment, really like, it's like in a stereotype or in the movies, aha moment under the shower. I was like taking shower. I was like, and genius, like an idea pops in my mind. I was like, you know what? I'm going to host networking events for founders because I still love event planning. I'm good at that. So I'm going to host monthly, because you need consistency, monthly networking events for founders. I'm going to call it Drink Entrepreneurs, which was a concept I already heard of that had started in Switzerland and Paris. So I was familiar with the founders and the network. So I'm going to just take that network to Oslo. It's called Drink Entrepreneurs. It's for entrepreneurs to connect, build their network, find opportunities. And that really exploded in Norway. I was expecting 5 people because I created a Facebook page that is still alive, if people want to check it, with pictures from the events. And we had up to 300 people in the events. I was expecting 5 people the first event.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. And I was overwhelmed. I was like, I just wanted 5 founders to talk to and learn from and hear what they have to say and teach me something. So I built a community. Within 9 months, I had, 1,000 people in my community, and up to 300, between 100 and 300 every month at my events.
Wow.
When
was this? Wow, 2015. Wow, okay.
So I did it till 2015, 2016. Then one thing to another, I was like, okay, so I became in Norway this go-to person that helps to people you need. So my Facebook, because it was Facebook at that time that was popular, my Facebook was exploding with with messages, my inbox, people I didn't know reaching out and telling me, Raya, I need a co-founder. Raya, do you know have an accountant? Raya, I need a social media manager. So I started like doing social media manager here. Raya, I need an investor. I was like, okay, how can I help? So one of the questions I was always asking at my events, how can I help you? That was a
huge
magical question that opens so many doors. How can I help you? What can I do for you? And everybody needs help, even the CEO of a big company. I just spoke to, a few weeks ago, I was talking to the ex-CEO of Google Norway, he left Google and he's now working on his own startup. And I sat down with him, and it's like, how can I support you? And even if me, I see like, this is ex-Google CEO, Norway, and me, I'm here. We spent an hour where I was actually advising him on LinkedIn. So I still have something to offer, even to the ex-CEO of Google Norway. We all have something to offer. So I would highly recommend founders, if they want to build a network, instead of asking for help, which I see a lot on a weekly basis. I get in my inbox people who ask me for intros to somebody or ask me for free advice, or I'm like, but who are you? I don't know you. What do you have to me? Why would I spend my time with you? I'm sorry, this is not, I'm not funded by the public sector yet, maybe, who knows? But I'm not, I have to think for myself and my business and those that I have to invest time on, my clients, portfolio companies. I have a lot of going on in my life. So what's in it for me? Always, if you want to build relationship with people you value, and you want them to help you at some point, whether it's investors, connectors, community builders,
100%.
Offer your help before asking anything. It could be, you follow their content on LinkedIn and saying, oh, Raya, I think if you reach out to me, oh, Raya, I've been reading your content and I think this resources would be very valuable to you. I went through it. It doesn't take so much time. Like, have a look. I'm not expecting anything in return. Just made me think of you. Enjoy. Like something really altruistic. And then I'm like, whoa, this person, who is this person? I want to jump on a call with you to get to know you. Things like that. Give before you take.
Like, you're giving me goosebumps right now, to be honest. Like, I think you, first of all, like, reflecting on what you have shared is that you start with, how can I help you? And that's something that I've been recently thinking a lot on LinkedIn, and you brought it home beautifully, Raya, is that usually on LinkedIn, I get about, on a peak season, I get about 50 different requests on a weekly basis. 48 goes straight into my archive.
Of course. It's reality.
I think, Raya, I mean, I would love for you to speak to this, is that a lot of entrepreneurs, they don't know how to network.
I was even giving lectures on networking at a university actually some time ago. And I would go back to sharing. If they want to network, they need to be giving first. It's not about pitching themselves. It's about creating value for the other person, also to make them curious about you. They will ask questions. Questions. Get curious. Be genuine. You have to connect the dots. If you talk to someone and he tells you, or her, she tells them, I'm within this space, I work in sustainability. And if you know someone within sustainability, immediately say it and say, you know what, I know someone, this person, would you like to connect with them? Create connections, create value for these people. And then naturally if they're polite, and if anyway there was a chance for you to work together, they would say, okay, what about you? Tell me about you. And people will return these kind of favors. Then it's easier to come back later. Even if they don't return the favor immediately, you come back later and say, I saw you connected to that person. Would you mind please connecting us? This is a ready message that you can send them. This is what I appreciate a lot when somebody asks for an intro to someone from my network. First, I need to know that person. I'm not going to introduce someone I don't know to my network that took me years to build. So make sure you know the person before asking for an intro to another person from the network. And secondly, be professional by sending them, making it easy for them to make an intro. Like if you look at someone in my network and you say, Raya, can you please connect me to Paul?
Yeah.
Here is a text about me for the intro. This is like you would write on my behalf. Hi, Paul. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to connect you to Behrad. Sorry if I pronounce.
The second one.
Yeah, Behrad. Okay. I wanted to connect you. He's working within this space. He has looked into your profile. He believes he can create value by doing this, or he's interested in this. This is what's in it for you. Okay, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, thank you. You already prepared the message. I just can copy, paste, and send. You're removing resistance in the process. So these are the little hacks to help people make the right impression.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a breath of a fresh air. To be honest, like I'm talking to someone that is seasoned, that it's been in the game of entrepreneurship for over like I think for 15 years. I don't know. Correct me on the timeline. I would like to pause. I would like to resume where we drop off in your entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah.
Something I would love to get your further thought on this, and along the path of entrepreneurs don't know how to network is I think a lot of people join entrepreneurship for quick money or for quick results. You've been in this game of entrepreneurship, or a sport of entrepreneurship, however you want to do it, say it, for over 15 years now. And I think you've been an entrepreneur all your life. You just like discovered like maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Can you please talk to me about importance of having a long time frame when entering this sport of entrepreneurship?
Yeah, and I know it's frustrating because we're often impatient.
Yeah,
and that's also what I experience. So I have advisors who often, one in particular, who tells me, Raya, slow down. Slow down.
They tell you, you cannot be slow down.
Exactly. They know that. Like, it's my strength and my weakness as well. But I try to slow down, I try because this is also what we teach, how we advise and work with the companies and the founders we work with. We help them build a foundation. When we want to go too fast, we want to scale too fast, we don't have the foundation. Everything can collapse. It's like a house. Build the outside, but the foundation is not there. Things need to happen step by step. And also, that's also the value of having more experienced people around you.
100%.
My advisors have... I have had an exit in the past in one of the platforms I built, but my advisors have had way bigger exits, and they have been in the same one kind of business for 15 years. And that's what they remind me, like, Raya, if you want to build the company you have right now, you need to have a long-term game. Because I'm also somebody who, so far in my career, I'm this kind of, I'm serial entrepreneur. So every 2-3 years, I come up with a new thing and I build it and I sell it, or I move to a new project. So this is how I've been doing things. Now I'm trying to capitalize, to maximize what we're working on, and to stick to this, to increase the value of the company, and to build something a legacy that can last in the long term. And this takes years. I'm an entrepreneur who advises entrepreneurs and invests in entrepreneurs. And when we start, and also when I started, and I think this is what many investors had in mind, didn't have in mind, is that we think we're going to get a return on investment in our startups from between 3 to 5, 6 years. It doesn't happen. It takes 7 to 15 years plus to maybe have an exit, to maybe the company is having an IPO. And if there is an exit before that, it's not going to be a big number. It's just like reality. We're so focused on these companies that we see from time to time, these unicorns, these very unique cases, 0.01% in the world that happens, where they raise money at a huge valuation and then they have a huge exit. And we think about Instagram, and we think about like these apps we use on a daily basis. but this is really a small percentage of companies that have succeeded and made it. The majority, really, basically the rest of the world, all the world, I would say, will not experience a similar path, and they have to be realistic. Patience, persistence, consistency, having a long-term vision.
Yeah.
Because this is what it takes. It's not a quick fix. Entrepreneurship is not a quick fix. Quick money, get rich quickly. It's not.
No.
It's tough, and it takes a lot of time.
It takes a lot of sacrifices in my experience so far. And I would love to speak to, because like you're a unique entrepreneur. You are a woman, first of all, and you have I don't know if you have kids, you have family, and relatively I have an easier job. I have my wife taking care of our kids, so it's you're already coming in, like committing to this sport of entrepreneurship, sacrificing a lot more than a person like me. So having a mission, having an intrinsic motivation, I think is really helpful for entrepreneurs to sort of like commit to this long time frame. So you mentioned early on that you wanted to sort of like this bridge the gap between the wealthy and, I don't want to call it developing world. Is this still true to you? And how do you sort of like fuel your furnace to keep going and like, amongst all these different things that you have to deal with on a daily basis?
So, when I was running these events, and from my experience growing between Morocco and Switzerland, and while working the last 9 years exclusively with founders designing platforms and products for them. So I've launched in 2016. So after my events, I wanted to turn this into an online platform.
Okay.
Long story short, ups and downs, got burned out, CTO got the surgery, found an investor too late, co-founder left, and so on. There has been a lot of ups and downs, but still 6 months later, I managed to meet Danske Bank, and they asked me to launch an online platform very similar to what I wanted to do via my company. So I launched a job platform. This is the biggest job platform. Actually, it's the only one now because it got acquired by its competitor, and they kept the name. So the hub.io is the largest job platforms for startups to recruit talent in the Nordics. And after that, I've been only working with founders. So I know very much the challenges that founders are facing, and I've been designing solutions for them. The pillars I've been working around and how I've been helping founders, it's about helping them build their network, connect to non-executive board members, growth experts, investors, access capital, either teaching them, showing them how to access the best capital, which is clients from clients, selling, increasing prices, increasing revenue, optimizing their processes, knowledge, giving them access to step-by-step programs on fundraising and scaling, and helping them with the mindset. So this is how I've been working with founders. And it goes back to the original wound that I wanted everybody to be equal. I wanted people from Morocco or from Switzerland or from Norway, the founders from Norway, to not have to hustle so hard, because it's hard enough. But it's even harder if you have no clue about how to build your network, who are the right people you need. And still, there's still so much lack of understanding and knowledge of what it takes to run a successful business. Even if you see a lot of content out there, there is still a lot of entrepreneurs who think they can do it by themselves, think they don't need to learn from others, or want to prove themselves. But most of the time, your first business is going to fail. It's going to fail. Just like I tried 10 businesses before I started to understand some rules, some basic rules to grow and optimize my organization.
I don't know what I mean, I can ask zillion questions right now, but I'm trying to see which one is more relevant. But like, speak to the young entrepreneurs, and you've been interacted with them. I've been interacting with them. They come into this sport with a bit of arrogance and naivety, which I think are very necessary, especially when you start and you don't know what's in front. You don't know what's in front of you, and they all think that failure only happens to their neighbors. not them.
Yeah. Yeah. I
How
hope it
can you
happens to
bring?
them.
Oh, interesting. Tell me, please.
Well, I hope it happens to them because it's part of the growth. If they don't fail, it means that they're not trying anything new. No one can figure out things from the start. You have to. There are a few exceptions, of course, and I hope they get that as well. Some luck along the way on their path. But I hope they fail, because failing means that they're gonna take a moment where they punch in the face, and they have to figure out how to get better, how to level up. I'll give you an example. I have so many examples like that. It's so stupid. Like, which one I'm gonna pick? Stupid examples.
Sure.
Let's say a few times, because I mentioned that to you. You know, I trust. Trust helps speed up processes. I trust my business partners. I trust my clients, and it happened to me a few times where I don't sign a contract with a client, and I don't get paid yet, but I start delivering. I start working with them because I trust them and because I want to help them. But life happens as well. And some clients take a lot of time to pay us, you know. So lately, because it was a big amount that I was expecting, it was a big punch in the face. I really was going from being cool, understanding, to going into dragon mode.
Yeah.
I was going to burn the ground if I was not getting paid by the end of the week. So instead of, and it was a big punch because I was kind of losing my face in front of my business partners and in consultants that were already delivering the service, and also my advisors who I was calling and saying, what do we do with this client? So it's a big one. And like, I take ownership. I've done that mistake. And now I don't know if that client is going to pay us. So I started to panic, and I have, people to pay, and I have costs to cover.
Yeah.
And that was a big punch in the face, but that's a punch I needed to happen to now look at our processes. And now internal policy, we do not start working. It sounds stupid, but it can happen so quickly. So we don't start working before we get paid. We don't start working before a contract is signed. This is as simple as that, but I can tell you that I had like pain in my stomach for 3 days because I was wondering what I was losing my face. I was wondering, what can I do in this situation? The client was abroad, so it's really hard. So I started to contact debt collector and stuff like that. But now I got punched. I failed in that to optimize my process. If I didn't fail, I would just continue. Maybe I would get a bigger client and I would lose money. In the end, the client paid us, so all good. But it was something necessary to help us level up.
Huge. So a follow-up on this. You are in a business that provides services to very, very targeted individuals or teams. So basically you are in a service business.
Yes.
And I am in the service business. And I look around and I see what other innovation studios doing, and some of them are so obsessed with achieving an economics of scale and formulated services that they miss the point of the essence of providing services. Basically, is providing care, right? How do you go about balancing?
It's a tough one.
It's a tough one. How do you go about arriving at the balance to run a service business that could scale, but at the same time, don't lose the stickiness of the services that you're providing?
I think every time, it's because we are also into scaling, so we have different products that we offer. Some that are more automatized. So we're working on a digital course. I also have my newsletter where I have paying subscribers. And we're working on the big projects with clients, long projects from 6 to 12 months, where we have them fundraise and scale internationally and connect to non-executive board members. And each time we have a new client or a new opportunity, we challenge ourselves. How can we do things differently? How can we scale, and we play different roles in the team. So I'm about growth, I move fast. I'm about growth and scaling. And I have some others in the team who are there to, to find that. I have one of them, Stefan or Jan Eric, who's like, okay, but Raya, we need to remember to do this and this and this. So it's a good balance between thinking, how can we scale, optimize our time and resources, while making sure that we have a good reputation, delivering a service, being available for our clients, while also setting boundaries with our clients. It's about setting boundaries, saying, I'm available, I'm here to support you, but we have to be reasonable, because my clients become my friends. I love them and they love me and and we often invest in them. So we have to find a balance between everything. It's all about balance between scaling, but taking care of our reputation. But there will be mistakes lately. There will be mistakes done along the way, and we just have to do collateral, to manage the risk and the damage. Lately, we invest quite regularly every month. I mean, it's like every 2 months or every month in a new company, in a new startup. And we are in dialogue with many. And lately, I delegated that work because we want to scale, right? I delegated that investment analysis and follow up with the startup. And this is a very good startup. So we said, yes, we are interested in investing. They got the pre-commitment from us. We were waiting for the term sheet. And this is where, for me, it was done. I was just waiting for the term sheet to sign as the CEO of the company. But here, because I was not involved in the discussion, and because the intermediary person was also very busy, which is not an excuse, but it happens, there was mismatch of expectations and communication.
Yeah.
When I jumped on the call with the startup last week and said, okay, so what's the update? When are we signing the term sheet? They said, well, Raya, we haven't heard from you for 2 months. So we closed the round. We oversubscribed. I'm like, but we give you the commitment, like pre-commitment verbally and by email. So we're in. Like, no, you're not in. We're very disappointed by you. And I'm like, so reputation. When we scale, there is this risk. And now that we have done the mistake again, this mistake where I maybe should have been more on top, which I was hoping to let go a bit because we're growing. We have to look now at how to optimize that process to make sure we don't damage our reputation, and we still can invest in good companies, and they don't start, because we have to be careful with the word of mouth. And so I apologize, and I still said to the founders that we're still interested, and it gave the context, but it was too late.
Yeah. I really appreciate, first of all, you share some of your stories that are not end up.
Right?
Yeah. It's because when guests come on the podcast, they want to bring their best example. So always, as you said, you learn a lot from the failure and things that not happy path, so to speak.
Yeah. And I've also had happy paths where many times where I met the right people, it was the right timing, I built something and I scaled it. But I think if people want to know what I've done, they can go on LinkedIn and see that I'm an investor in 70 plus companies. I have launched the largest job platform for startups in the Nordics. I also launched the first accelerator in the Nordics. So, it's not about spending time on the achievements. It's more about, I'm here to share knowledge and share the common pitfalls and show the reality in a very raw way to help others.
Let me ask a very basic question, but important question. What's the difference between knowledge and expertise?
Can you repeat now?
What's the difference between knowledge and expertise?
Yes. Well, I think I didn't reflect on this, but knowledge is more general. Expertise built over time.
Yes.
Comes from experience. Knowledge, you can gain it from books. Expertise is a combination of theory and practice. And I trust expertise more than general knowledge. I trust someone's expertise because I can also maybe check that. I can see what they've worked, what they've done. their reputation, the results they created.
And that's only could be gained while you're actually in the trenches and trying to do things.
It's like the video I posted, about consultants.
Yes.
Who want to show, who never run a company and want to show you how to run your own company. Take advice from those who've done it before and failed and tried and didn't give up. Something I've heard this once surround yourself with people who went through bankruptcy. Okay, who went bankrupt, because these kind of people go through the process. They know what went wrong. Hopefully they learned from it. And they've been there till the end.
Yeah.
I mean, especially advisors who have been on the board or non-executive board of founders who went bankrupt. These are the people who stick with you till the end. And this doesn't come from knowledge. This comes because from, like you say, going to war.
Yeah.
Expertise you only gain that way.
And in the sport of entrepreneurship, you need partners, you need colleagues, you need people around you that are willing to stick with you till the end.
Yes.
Raya, we are in the midst of, we've gone through the first internet bubble, then social network bubble, and now we are in the midst of AI bubble. Everyone, any team with some ideas and some access to open source LLM or daring to build their own wants to start a AI startup.
Yeah.
A lot of noises. How do you navigate this market? Especially, I'm sure that you get a lot of requests. How do you go about filter? What's your sieve, so to speak, look like? How do you evaluate teams? What kind of criteria you look into when you want to invest?
So first of all, when I see AI, I become skeptical. I prefer not to see any AI. I want to see a business that is making money and is starting to use AI to optimize certain things to scale. So yeah, I would rather do it that way. Actually, I would rather invest in a business that has been around for some time and is now integrating some AI tools to automatize, optimize, scale their services.
So they found their product market fit, like actually in the market. Now they're like at level of scale and they're like, how can AI help us scale better?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. We have in our investment thesis to invest in post-revenue companies based in the Nordics, ideally Norway, so mainly Norway, or when it's outside Norway, we need to work with them to get to know them. So they have been through our programs in fundraising or scaling. So we got to know the founders and the organization internally. To minimize our risk. We have recently invested in a company, fintech in Germany. You maybe know them, so I won't mention the name, who were on paper doing really well. And then they announced that they were going bankrupt. They were shutting down. We've done a mistake in terms of due diligence. And we're not the only ones. We're part of a round with many professional investors, but we've been all completely misled. So new policy after failing, now we stick really to we only invest in companies we worked with, because that was the best startup we've seen for a long time. And maybe we've been lied to. Maybe they bullshitted us, because there are scammers and frauders out there. If they're good in storytelling, charisma, presence, and so on, and they play on FOMO, fear of missing out, sense of urgency, and they have some metrics, it's easy to bullshit anyone. There've been a lot of founders who've been literally scamming people, but say, it's the company went bankrupt. what can we do? But in the meantime, they've been spending money and covering their own expenses and going on trips to Bali and so on. And I'm really serious. I'm telling really facts and real stories here. So that's why we invest in Norwegian companies, post-revenue, always post-revenue, or we have worked with them. So these are the first criteria. So for me, there's so much bullshit around. There's so many companies that I have worked with, I would not invest in after working with them. But they still raise money from other investors because these investors have not worked with them. You know? What I mean?
I see where you're going with this.
But I'm working as a consultant with these startups. So I am getting in, starting to join the company to get to know them. And I'm in my assessment position. And I see that it's a mess. There's so much to do. But they managed to fundraise from the network of investors. If the investors knew what I know, and I cannot tell them because they're not my client, I'm already in contract with someone and I have NDAs and so on. So I'm like, my God, you should not this startup is so not ready to get any money from anyone before they got their shit together. And they do what? They add an AI layer. They haven't figured out their shit, but they add an AI layer and then they raise more money. I mean, it's a good news for founders, in a sense. There is a lot of, money out there that they can get if they talk to the right network, to the right people, if they have the right network and they have the right storytelling and charisma. But personally, I'm more skeptical than ever when I see something with AI because there's a lot going on. First of all, we all know it's not AI, it's ChatGPT maybe, or an algorithm behind. We know it takes years to build. And secondly, they're surfing on a wave, and we will see in a few years who's going to last.
Yeah, I mean, early 2000, everyone wanted to have a search logo as part of their brand, and everyone would try to have a search functionality, but only Google lasted with the Microsoft Bing.
Yeah, exactly. So there is no rush into investing in buzzwords like NFTs or Web3 already at that time. When I see Web3, I'm like, why don't you build something for this world? Isn't it good enough? But you want to build shops in Web3, in the metaverse? Why do you do that? You want to build like real estate in the metaverse? Why don't you? Why? We're here.
We are here.
There's nobody there. It's going to take 100 years for people to go there. And we wish that no one ever goes there. No one should go there. We have enough to do, enough problems to solve on this planet before. This is what, there is an investor founder that I know. You can people check him out on LinkedIn, Andy Chen. So this is the previous CEO of Tidal, that was sold to Jay-Z. So he's based in Norway. And I had a chat with him because at some point, one of my previous startups, because I had so many, we were raising money. And he was one of the potential investors we were talking to, and we just stayed in touch. So he was telling me, I was like, but Andy, everything you touch turns into gold. How do you do that? And he said, I have a good eye to find opportunities that are happening now. And from now to the next 5 years, not beyond. So we can solve a problem that is happening now and build a company, grow over the next 5 years because we're solving a problem today for clients that are willing to pay today. Not in 10 years. And then we're building a business that we can sell or we can do something with it, that we can turn into a profitable business. Not build something that is in 10 years or 15 years. We build something that solves a problem today. So that's maybe my biggest advice for founders. Build something that solves a problem today. Solve problem today. Find clients that are willing to pay today.
Like if I want to rephrase it, search for the demand that exists today, not even tomorrow, like today.
Yeah, today.
That's huge. I mean, it's just because if I want to reflect on this, I mean, so we are innovation studio and we get to work with a lot of early stage startup. And I had the chance to invest in 3 startups. We designed their application, but I didn't. I was just like, I really don't think you could do anything with this. I mean, I should have been a bit more vocal with it, and I will be vocal from now on.
Yes.
But I don't know how to explain it, but I think it's really difficult. I mean, you said it like your first startup fails. It's really difficult for early stage, like first time founders, second time founders, third time founders to succeed. It's really difficult for them. You really need to be here and like get exposed in different environment, work in different startups, invest like 5 years into this sport to be able to get to a point that you have a good antenna, like Andy Chen that you mentioned, that you pick up on problems that are solvable today and you can get to revenue as quickly as possible.
Yeah. I totally agree with you.
Raya, I know your time is precious, and I would like to be really mindful about this. I would love to end with getting your thought on a post that you published some time ago, and I read it a couple of times. And let me read the first lines, then I think you can pick it up. You started with spending 250 euros on drink with friends on a Saturday night. Yes. Investing 250 euros in productivity software? No. Spending 1,500 euro on holidays? Hell yes. Investing 1,500 euro in a course to help your business grow? No. Why did you write this post? And can you please expand?
Because I think we make a lot of bad choices in our life. And we think short term, very short term, and we look for instant gratification. So I go out on Saturday night, I'm going to spend, $200 on drinks and food with my girls. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I had a good time. But like, what about your priorities? If you're running a business, maybe that money should be invested in software, productivity software, or it's not that it should be, is that like when you have to invest that money, don't be, cheap. You have just spent $200 or euros out with some friends. You would not mind doing that. So why are you sacrificing your business when you don't sacrifice your pleasure? It's not one or the other, really. People do whatever they want. It's just about challenging their thought process and showing them that they are spending money already. So why not spending that money also on their business, which is going to help them generate more a return on investment, actually. It's not short-term gratification. It's not like scrolling on social media and you get like this dopamine boost. This is long-term. This is patience. This is what we were talking about. We're here to play a long-term game. Are you in it in the long term, or do you want quick joy, satisfaction, and dopamine kicks? It's to make founders reflect a bit. Because I used to be, I think I'm like we can do both. But when in private banking, I used to spend money a lot on holidays, more than the numbers I put. I used to go out. I used to buy, bags, Gucci bags at 3,000 euros quickly. When I became a founder, I just had no choice. I was like, I can't continue that lifestyle. I'm going to work forever. My business needs this and this and this. So I've been investing so much in my business. And that's what I just hope that people realize, that if they want to grow a business, they need to invest not only time, they also need to invest resources. They need to invest in other people. They need to take risks. It's about taking risks. The more risk you take, the more bets you have. And risks come at a cost. It can be monetary, energy, time. It's like experienced the founders I work with. Our programs are relatively pricey for an early stage founder. So we don't work with early stage founder. We work with scale-ups or serial entrepreneurs or founders who have a business that funds their new business. And they pay us 20,000 euro per year and this is cheap actually, to provide them with continuous advisory services on how to optimize their organization. And those that are early stage, maybe they can't afford that, or even when I was pricing it at a cheaper price, they would not value it.
Yeah.
While those that have been there before, actually the clients I work with, I often tell them, you actually don't really need me. You don't need me. But they're like, we need you because we meet every 2 weeks and you are the accountability partner and you and your network know a little bit better than us. And you help us stay on track and move faster. So I don't want to waste my time like I wasted my time in the past trying to figure out everything by myself. I don't want to do that. I've done this before. I wasted years and more money that I'm investing with you. So now I just want to fast track and I'm willing to do the investment. So it comes with experience. With experience, you value people's experience.
100%. I think took 20,000 euro per year for a post revenue. It's nothing. Yeah, it's.
Don't worry, we're increasing our prices. Don't worry.
Yeah. Raya, I cannot thank you enough for coming on the podcast and being so open, and you have such a vibrant energy, and I can see why people want to start businesses and venture with you right away. Thanks a lot for coming on the podcast.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Ciao.
Yarek, Aisha, Behrad, 2 episodes every week.
Leancast, product innovation and UX design podcast.